Welcome to Sideline Vibes, the Minnesota sports show changing the narrative of Minnesota sports fandom. I'm your host, Derek Long. With me today, we have the original Sideline Vibes crew. Read Mitch. I know I said I wasn't going to introduce you guys, but I know I just did it again. So we're going to keep that in there.
Old habits
and
die
today,
hard.
Absolutely, for the diehards, you already know. Today we have multi-Emmy award-winning filmmaker extraordinaire from Sasquatch Media, also co-founder of Lake Biscuit, guy Ian Fritz. He's going to join us today and talk about sports documentaries in general, filmmaking, and maybe a little bit of wild hockey, a little bit of his expertise, as you see a lot of those jerseys behind him. And then, of course, State of the State.
I bumped the wrong one.
That was perfect.
I heard the scratch. I was like, oh, wrong button. Then you got it.
Hey, okay, I never rode the Lake Biscuit. I think I was around when you guys were like constructing it.
That's why I put it in there. You're tied to it, though. You're tied to it.
Of it. Yeah.
You were part of the, I would say, artistic. You were in the what's it called? The blueprint part of it, like the
writer's room.
The writer's room, artistic vision. You're thinking of the behind the scenes stuff.
Subconsciously, I had some effect on the creation of this.
I just remember you were part.
Done something.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really either. I just was the one that wrote it. If you guys are confused,
I was gonna say you got to help us out here. Lake Biscuit. What is that? Yeah. I'm not thinking good things right now.
I think it was like during high school or like right before college, or like it was like summer back from college. We were really bored, and so we went to my buddy Reed's house, or our buddy Reed's house, and we just decided to like start putting something together that we can like ride behind a boat and get pulled behind. That was like a lawn chair, like sitting in a lawn chair, being able to like sit back and relax, but it's not like an inner tube. Like we wanted to like the full functionality of like sitting in a lawn chair. Yeah, sit back and like we wanted cup holders, the whole shebang. And so, but we also wanted to be riding behind a boat. So it's like the best of both worlds, because we thought it'd look cool, but also be functional. I don't know.
You called it the Lake Biscuit. Yeah. Lake Biscuit, like sea biscuit, but because you're on a lake.
Dude, exactly. Nailed it. We thought that would, and actually someone reached out. It's so funny that they reached out and asked for like the actual patent for it, because they wanted to actually do something with it. But I don't think we ever got to that point. I think we just thought like, no, we're not pursuing this any further. But we spent an entire summer. I think it was like every once a week or twice a week, we would meet in Reed's garage and just kind of like go just like put stuff together, go test it out in the water, and then kind of recircle back to it and see what we need to improve. And we eventually got it going. It took a couple trials, but yeah, that's the Lake Biscuit. It's just an average. Yeah,
you know, there's D Long, Derek Long, Da Vinci was another one of his nicknames.
Da Vinci.
That's all I'm gonna refer to him and from now on is Da Vinci. Like Da Vinci, are we ready to go?
Da Vinci?
That was just fun. That's what we spend our time. If you ever wonder what like the people who live in Detroit Lakes do in the summer, yeah, it's like kind of like Trailer Park Boys a little bit. That's what it felt like. All right, here we have Ian Fritz from Sasquatch Media, a longtime friend. So glad to have you on. Ian, how's it going?
Derek, Mitch, Reed, stoked to be here. Thanks for having me. Such an honor to be on your guys' show, especially, quarter century. This is a big, I feel special today. And big part of it is thanks to you guys. So yeah, thrilled to be here.
Honor to have you on for the 25th episode, man.
This is we'll have to have like a power ranking of all the DL people who have been on the show. But I think out of all of them, you probably have the most street cred out of everybody. Like we said at the top,
the first one that's thanked you.
I think so.
This opportunity.
Actually, I think you are. I think everybody else was like, yeah, of course I'm supposed to be on, but like I think you're the only one who's really truly thanked me
I was
for
really
this
like,
opportunity.
me?
Yeah.
You want to talk to me?
Dude, I just wanted to talk to you in general, man.
Yeah.
Derek, Kitzman's gonna come for your throat.
No, Kitzman is all-timer. Kitzman's an all-timer. Kitzman's an
all of
OG.
our
Kitzman's
episodes.
day one.
It's daddy.
Yeah, Kitzman. Shout out to Kitzman. I feel like every show I talk about Kitzman at some point. Dude, yeah, what a legend.
He's our number one listener.
He is, dude. He's a diehard. He actually is the number one. He's a leader of the Vibey Gang. That's the name that we have for the people of the program.
The Vibesters.
The friends of the program. The Vibesters? Yeah, we can come up with a better name probably, maybe. We'll workshop it a little bit.
Yeah, we don't have to do it on air.
No, I think we should. Should we spend like half an hour doing it?
No.
Episode next week is just us coming up with a clan name.
So ridiculous.
I got a question for you guys.
Dude, I love this.
So for listeners, let's just guess, what time of day do you think they do these podcasts at? Maybe
Ooh.
We're gonna give you a moment to think. Okay, you've come up with an idea or an answer. Derek texted me the other day and asked me to be a part of the show. I am completely honored. Whatever he wants, whenever, is kind of more or less my response. And he's like, yeah, is it cool if we do it like after 9:30 p.m.? And I was on a Monday and I was like, what? 9:30 p.m. on a Monday? What do you got going on? And he's like, oh, well, I got a church fundraiser at a bar. And I was like, what? All right. Yeah, sure. Let's run it. But here we are. 9:30 p.m.s on Mondays is when they record podcasts.
Yeah. We're not a super what's the word? Professional show, professional production. It looks like it because of the fantastic producers that we have, Reed and Mitch.
This is incredibly professional.
It's state of the art. It's state of the art. I can't believe it. But like as for the like planning part of it, we basically just like show up, and most of the time I'm either late or something is like not working.
Webcam
didn't work last week.
My webcam didn't work for
to figure out.
And I just had to unplug it and plug it into a different port. It was great.
More fun facts.
We
didn't know you were going to be on the pod until like what time was it today, Mitch? That
4
he texted
o'clock,
us?
5 o'clock.
This
9 p.m.
Oh yeah, no, I texted around like 11. I'm like, hey, what are we doing for the episode this week? We probably should figure that out. Dude. And Derek's like, oh yeah, I got my buddy Ian on. I was like, all right.
Dude, I want to keep
Derek
you guys in the
schedule anything.
No, man, yeah. Dude, I just vibes. I go off the vibes. I was like, hey, I feel like this is an Ian day.
I felt it. I felt it too.
Dude, so good. So obviously, Ian, longtime friend from the good old Detroit Lakes. We've known each other for a long time.
Go Big Red.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. We went our separate ways during college, but not that far away. You were a St. John's. I would say what kind of refer to you as an alumni, a pristine alumnus. Yeah, you're like probably you probably end up in the Hall of Fame there at some point. And I remember you saying, I don't want to speak for you here. I'll let you kind of chat. But I remember you kind of had an interesting path into where you are now as a filmmaker. Do you want to speak on that at all? How you got to that point? Or yeah, how you started it all?
Just start running, huh?
Yeah, dude.
Well, it started in Detroit Lakes. Mr. Sprafka's fifth grade class. Right across. Shout out Mr. Sprafka. Right outside his fifth grade classroom was the computer lab, and every Friday they had Laker News or Laker Live or something like that. And any fifth grade kid that wanted to show up in the media lab, right away in the morning could like help produce it, shoot it, be a news anchor. And so, I just went over and ran the switchboard and stuff because it was kind of live. You do the Pledge of Allegiance on there and get the flag roll and then do a nice like cross dissolve, to like the anchors as they're like pledging allegiance. And then wipe again, back to the flag. It was awesome.
I for some reason remember that very vaguely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so that was really fun. And then like first day of 6th grade in middle school in DL, I'm going way back, but this is a part of it all. This is, 6th grade in Detroit Lakes, you go to different classrooms and whatnot. It was my first time having to do that. And, one of the first hours of the day, I went to the wrong class. I thought I was supposed to be in the computer lab, and I wasn't. And so, like, class kind of starts, and no one calls my name. And I kind of ask the teacher, I'm like, hey, am I supposed to be in here? And she's like, nope. And so I was like, oh, geez, where do I go? So I like kind of start marching out of the classroom, and the media lab teacher, Mr. Giel, says, you. And I'm like, what? And me? And he's like, yeah, get over here. We need your help. Okay. So I follow him to the computer lab, and there's like some other older kids like doing some video stuff, and they're like, hey, we need you as a 6th grader to talk about like, what it's like to be a 6th grader. And it's like my first day. I'm like, I don't know, but they had the cameras and all this stuff, and I ended up skipping that hour of class, and I spent it in the media lab. And if you were part of the Laker News, or I got invited to be a part of Laker News, and so my homeroom for the next 3 years of middle school was the media center, and all I did was make Laker News 3 days a week. Or you'd have live shows or have videos play every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
That's so cool.
Dude, you just name dropped so many legendary people I haven't thought about in Detroit Lakes in a long time, and that's such a like serendipitous moment that you had where you're just like kind of I just picture your little 6th grade, 5th grade Ian walking in the hallways of middle school, and they're just like, hey, get over here. And you're like, sure. I love that. I remember you being like a very instrumental part in like Laker news production, even like through high school and stuff. If I can remember, I remember you were in like a lot of that kind of stuff. I know you were in like musicals and plays and stuff, but you were very active all
Song
throughout.
And dance, man.
Dude, yeah, you were very active throughout school and a lot of different activities. But so your love started then, right?
Yeah,
Of
early on,
filmmaking,
I enjoyed it and
producing
stuff.
things.
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
And then went to college, and you go to college and you get a degree, and you go do the job that was your degree. And I wanted to be a dentist because that seemed like a great idea, artful and helping people. And so it's like power tools in your mouth, and you shaping teeth. I still would have loved it, but there was some part of me that was like, I don't know, I feel like there's something more out there. And I just made videos in college too for fun, like just random stuff, like freshman, sophomore year. And then sophomore year of college, I wanted to go on the ski trip to Jackson Hole. All my friends at the time didn't want to go skiing in Jackson. So I kind of knew some guys around campus who were my age, who I kind of knew skied. And I was like, I'm just going to ask these guys. Like, maybe they want to do it. I had it all planned at like, to go to Jackson nowadays, like a lift ticket's like at least $120 a day, at least. It's like absurd. We went 7 days of skiing total. It was like $270. Jackson, Wyoming. Yeah, just absurd. And then we stayed at the hostel, and I don't think I paid more than like $125. All I remember, it was under $500 to ski and stay for 7 days.
How many guys did you have go with you?
So that was key. I needed this to be cheap for myself. And so this is like the first thing I've produced in my life. So it was this trip, and I found these wicked tickets. I found the place we're staying. I knew we could get 6 guys in the hostel room. There are 2 bunk beds, 4 beds apiece. Mm-hmm. And I went up to all these like individual dudes and said, I'm doing this trip. Do you want to join? And they didn't know me and just said, sure. joined. One guy, I was pitching it to a crew of dudes in like one of our like dorm like common areas, and some guy heard him, asked if he could join, and that was my good friend now, Connor Murphy, who's a
Awesome,
production
Murph.
partner of mine. Yeah, shout out to Murph. Um, and he was like, "Oh, could I join?" And like he'd never skied in his life. Dude bought some skis. He bought an old school motorcycle helmet that like, like it like is like super rounded and stuff. And then like got goggles, and he had one of those Yoda backpacks. And then he got like a 1970s like fluorescent neon jacket. He's got Yoda strapped to his back. He's got like the like really bubble helmet thing going on. I mean, it was amazing. And so anyway,
I can
6 of us
picture that.
went. The hostel was so small that one guy each night, we rotated who had to sleep on the floor. And one guy had to sleep halfway in the bathroom. Like you could not close the bathroom door to go to the bathroom. You stepped over this guy and then you could pee. And if you needed to go number 2, like that waited for the morning or something. You couldn't
Yeah,
like kick the
yeah.
guy out while he's sleeping in the bathroom. But it was absurd. And then one of the people, Pat Reagan, my old business partner as well, shout out Pat.
Shout out to Pat.
His parents had a Suburban, and they let us take it, and we did a straight shot from Detroit Lakes, which isn't so bad. I think it's a 16-hour drive from Detroit Lakes to Jackson. So we did that there and back in one go, and just rotated drivers. So yeah, so then we went. It's getting long-winded,
No,
and
you're
I was
good.
like,
I love this.
we should bring some cameras with. And we did. We rented them from our school. And to any kids watching this, or high school kids or whatever, I tell them, I'm like, when you go to college, when you're in high school, you have access to cameras and all this stuff. All this stuff is free for you at your disposal. And then you become an adult and you want to use a camera, you have to go pay to rent it. So hurry up and use this like free access to high end gear while you can.
No kidding.
So we rented these really nice cameras and like took them out to Jackson with us and like filmed this experience, stayed in a hostel. It was nuts. We got in Powder Magazine, which, like, if you know anything about skiing, it's like a big deal. They had this quaffing tournament, which is this beer drinking tournament. And they had this video, and we're like in the front of the video going like, "Oh!" And so it was crazy. But great trip. And then Curtis Williams edited a video of this whole experience. And shout out to Kurt. It was
Shout out
like
to Curtis.
it was sweet. It was awesome. And I got done watching it, and I was like, dudes, we should start a business. So then we did. And we roomed together junior year of college. And then the first St. John's football game happened. And, we just took a camera with us and on the sideline, got a couple cool shots. One shot, I'm running down the sideline. We had like these steady cams, which was like back in I don't even know. It's like so ancient of a looking thing, unless it's on like an actual steady cam. But it's like this thing like this, and there's weights at the bottom. You put your camera up here, and you should be able to like put it like this, and the weights will stay perfectly there, and the camera stays there, and you can kind of orient it any way you want. It's perfectly stable. And so that's what we had. So I'm running down the sideline, and the quarterback goes on a route and runs right by me. I'm running right down the sideline. There's like no one at these football games, filming or whatever. You
Yeah.
watch NFL or D1, you can't walk on the sideline. The photographers are like, you sit here, like D3 football is like the best place to be creative. And so I'm just running down the sideline, and this quarterback jumps into the end zone over a guy onto his back and just like lands right in the end zone, touchdown, gets up, like chest bumps some guy, and I'm right there. Get this incredible shot. And we whip up like this 15-second video, and it got like 80,000 views in 2 days. And the school came back to us
Yeah.
and said, because before we didn't have a media pass, we just kind of snuck on the field and did whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Do you want to do this more?" And we're like, "Sure." So then we started doing it, and then we made a couple more, and then the school offered us our first contract to like do something, paid, and it was to do a video about their political science program, and we turned it down because we didn't know how to tell a story at that time. We only knew how to make hype videos, and it was like a lot of money, like to us, and like it was like $1,000, which is like a lot of money.
That is that
And
when you're a college kid, like you're like that.
Oh,
That sounds like
grand in
10
college
grand.
is huge.
Yeah, it'd be Johnny Game Day. I don't think it's not the one maybe you're talking about, but they give an example of what you like, you being close up and stuff. And I thought that was so cool. I remember
I was gonna say
seeing
this
that,
one
like, on
looks pretty
Facebook
well
and
produced. You had a drone shot to start it.
oh, I mean, the Sasquatch. Come on.
Well, I didn't know if that was early on for them though.
No, it was. You guys were ahead of your time
we had a
too.
drone year 2, I think we got a drone, or maybe we got a drone year 1. Yeah.
So yeah, this one. Okay, so like for example, there's another video called Gianni Tommy, and that's 2015. So this would have been 3 years after.
That was
This
our
would have
junior.
been yeah.
No, the 2015 one.
The 2015 one is your first video. And that's the music video with like roses. Ding ding ding. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
You're probably like, oh, don't, please don't show that. But it's
Sports
so good.
Center came.
Yeah.
You know, the St. John's for this, so it was
Game
like
day.
a holy smokes. We had a lot of.
I remember texting you and asking about that. Like, you're like, yeah, we get to go and do like check out all like the tour buses, the college game day, like, or you get to like kind of walk around it and check it out, all that production stuff that they're setting up, because they did college game day at St. John's, because it was like the oldest college rivalry basically, or one of the coolest at least.
So,
like,
yes, I mean it was an incredible rivalry. It was sad. Derek, I totally forgot about that. So we were like all over the camera guys and like the game day bus, because like we have cameras, and these guys have legit steady cams, and those are like where the guy's wearing the suit and it's got this mechanical arm, you know, the full rig, and it also has like, you know, this old school gimbal thing I have too, but like attached to with your robotic arm basically. And so we're like, oh, you know, like asking them all these questions, hanging out by the bus, you know, trying to like talk to these guys. And they're like, you know, finally they're like, you guys want to see the switchboard? You guys want to see what goes on behind the scenes? We're like, yeah. And so they like brought us in the bus, and it's like, you know, all these lights and gizmos and, you know, giant switchboard, and they got a million TVs in there, and some guys, you know, like directing, like boom, this and that, you know, blah blah blah. So yeah, it was that was super cool.
Oh my
experience to see.
What an experience, dude. The only thing that I would say comes even close to that, going to school at SMSU, was when Midco showed up for the Mankato SMSU game. Like, and Midco is not to that level at all. Like,
Midco's got a bus.
Yeah, they have a van. They brought a van. They didn't bring their bus. They had a van. But
let me back up a little bit here, because your ski trip, that's when, because I know the guys, or I got to meet them at least. I haven't talked to them for a long time, but that's when the Sasquatch boys met, essentially, like became good friends.
Pretty much
is on that trip.
Yep. It was
that trip. I guess I've never asked you this. Like, how did you come up with Sasquatch? Who was kind of the person who was like, hey, this is what we're called, Sasquatch?
So I presented that name to the guys early on.
I think I remember you saying this, and this is such an Ian move.
And the guys were like, I don't know, blah blah blah. Like, we had met Travis Rice at a bar in Jackson. If you guys know who Travis Rice is, he's this like super famous snowboarder. Like, the Art of Flight movie was all about him. Like, he is like the ultimate snowboarder, Travis Rice. So we meet him at the bar in Jackson. No one's at this bar. Like, there's like 2 other people at this bar, and it's like us 6 boys. Like, yeah. And he fucking walks in with like 3 other dudes. He's got this sick Pendleton wool camo coat that like goes down to his knees. And I'm just like, this is like the coolest jacket ever. I'm like, and we look and we're like, holy shit, it's fucking Travis Rice, because he's from Jackson. And we're, you know, so we ended up talking to him for like an hour. We like get his name. and his number, and he's like, all right, meet me at the tram tomorrow at 6 a.m. We're going up. You're coming with. I'm like, okay, it's like 2 a.m. Like, we're like, yeah, this is happening. And so I get his number, and I'm typing Travis. He's like, no, 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 don't put my name. Put Wolf Mouse. We're like, oh yeah, Wolf Mouse. Like, oh. So anyway, we showed up like at like 5:45 in the tram line, and no one's there, and no one proceeded to come and for the next couple hours. So we got stood
Dang.
up by Travis Rice, but I think we kind of could see it, coming, before we even left that bar that night. We're like, I don't know, but you can't miss that
No.
opportunity.
No.
But so yeah, so Pat originally wanted us to be called Wolf Mouse, and I'm kind of like a pushover, so I'm like, all right, whatever, we can try to roll with
Wolf
this.
Mouse.
And then people started asking us, like, early on when we were trying to get some jobs, like, what's your name? And we kind of like be like, Wolf Mouse, and people are like, what? And we're like, oh, this probably isn't a very good name. So then we decided to take the name Sasquatch and remove all the vowels, and thought that was a genius idea because, back in the day, that's what all the EDM artists did, right? Who needs a
Dude,
vowel?
yeah, that was right up that alley. Right around that time for
Yeah.
sure.
So that's kind of how the name came to me. And then finally they came around to the idea of Sasquatch. And we didn't want it to be Sasquatch without vowels, but there's a production company in San Diego called Sasquatch with vowels.
Oh, you guys are better.
So yeah, I don't know.
You guys are cooler. Like you just took out the vowels. That's cooler. Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, it does kind of work well enough, where it's not, people aren't like always like, what the fuck, but most of the time they might be a little confused.
If your videos ever fail, you can just take up EDM.
There you go. You guys can start doing. Yeah. There you go.
I do have to nerd for 2 seconds. Can I ask what cameras you guys brought on the ski trip to do your original, like your video that brought you all together? Like what cameras did you guys check out?
GoPros and Canon. What was it? Some Canon thing. I don't remember exactly the thing, but it was a DSLR. It was mirrorless.
Okay.
And then I didn't remember exactly what that camera was, but I remember the first camera I bought that was significant. And that was a Sony A57. And it was one of the first mirrorless cameras that ever came out. And mirrorless, so before, like in camera right here, you have that is what's considered your mirror. That is your sensor.
This is a great camera tutorial for y'all, by the way. This is
I
grade A stuff.
This thing.
So in like an old DSLR, it stands for digital something reflection. I don't know, but there's a mirror involved in it. And Mitch, feel free to jump in if you've got me.
Digital single lens reflex.
Digital single lens reflex. So there's a reflector. Here's the mirror. The light comes in, bounces off this mirror, goes up, hits another mirror, then comes down. The sensors behind this mirror. Why they do that, I don't know. But Sony came up with this idea of like, let's make a translucent mirror. Oh, they do this because apparently it's a better image quality to bounce it around, to get it to the sensor. It becomes for a clear image. Sony had the idea of like, let's make our mirror translucent so light can shoot through. Some light can shoot through, and then some other light can go around and give that full clarity. And what shooting through the mirror did was allow for incredibly faster autofocus. So that's why when we started, sports stuff was such a big deal for us, because we could autofocus so much stuff so much quicker than anything else. And Sony just had it dialed where they understood like what a human outline was, and just was so good at understanding what your subject is you're filming and what needs to be in focus. And so the Sony A57 was the first one. Then our next one was the Sony A77, which is a little bit better than a Sony A57. And then we got a Sony A7R2. And we rode those until we got FX3s. And some people don't think FX3s are a big deal if you get into some snobby circles in filmmaking, but there's a lot of movies being made on FX3s. And a lot of people who might shit on FX3 wouldn't realize this is an FX3, like all rigged out and stuff. And you can do, I mean, it's a Netflix approved camera nowadays.
So cool. Dude, that's so cool. I just learned so much in another lifetime here, many years down the road. You should be like you could easily be like a film professor, like a filmmaking professor. So I could see it. Dude, the way you just explained that was like just beautiful. Just beautifully.
This is the one
simple.
Because I shoot on Canon for my job, which I love Canon. Canon's great. They take. I would say that Canon does better with the photos than the video, but you can.
Yeah.
It still works both ways. What I'll give Sony is that the low light shooting that you can do with a Sony camera, miles ahead. And when I had my job when I lived up in North Dakota, we shot all our stuff on Sony. It was like I think we shot on A7 IIIs, and sometimes I miss it. Not gonna lie, but I don't have to pay for the gear at my job, so I'll take what I get. So, and they're nice cameras, so
Yeah.
I won't complain.
Yeah.
But personal camera, it might be a Sony, just because Sony's the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Canon has, and in my opinion, amazing color space, and I mean they have that figured out. Sony tends to get a little green and pink. You know, I don't know. They're whatever, but yeah, they get the job done. Nowadays, it's crazy. Like, you know, one of our shots in Dream State was with an iPhone. You know, it was during the opening credits of the show, which is a big sequence. So, you know, nowadays, it's not as snooty as it once was.
Do you guys shoot log or no?
Yes.
All right. Good.
I wouldn't mind not shooting log, but
yeah. No, I don't shoot log because most of the stuff that I capture now is it got to be a quick kind of turnaround for social stuff, and you don't necessarily need log for that. It looks good enough.
It's hard to grade log.
Oh my God, it takes so much time to grade log. I hate it. I can't. I still haven't quite figured it out. I'll be honest. I've tried. I'm like, this sucks. This looks like crap. If I graded it correctly, it would look great, but I can't grade it right. So, not to nerd out with you, but
you got to know someone. Derek's over here like, what is this stuff?
Dude, this is great, man. This is Camera Corner. This is Film Production Corner.
Camera Corner.
Dude, we need a full on. We might need our own another separate podcast just to talk about all this stuff because this is great. I love this. I love learning things. I'm like so like I love this. I don't know anything you're talking about, but it's like fun to learn about and I like asking questions about it. But like,
quick question.
Reed?
Just me quick.
Yeah.
What do you use to edit? Are you DaVinci Resolve, After Effects, Premiere Pro?
So I should be to be honest, editing is one of the things I try to do the least amount, or if I do, it's creating string outs. And I have fallen into the role of basically like, so I'll get a job. That's what I'm good at. Like going out, trying to shake and bake, you know, try to get some jobs, like work with us, we're great, you know, and then I'll get a job and then I hire out all the technical pros to do it. And one of the first things that comes down to is who's editing this for me, because editing is one of the most important jobs in all video. I mean, it's what the viewer sees and hears and listens to and the experience of that. And it's something that is very difficult to teach. You kind of, in my opinion, either feel like you have that touch and understanding of pacing within a video, when to cut, where to cut, what's worth watching. And so that's like, to me, one of the most important things. So I look for that person first. Almost everyone I work with works in Premiere. Almost all those people that work in Premiere want to get over into DaVinci. because it's a one-time payment, and Adobe is like $65 a month or something,
Yep.
67.
I think they're jumping it up to 71 now. They sent me that email. It sucks.
Great.
I'm a DaVinci
Love
guy.
that.
I edit all my
Are you?
stuff in DaVinci. I don't have
That's
I don't
awesome,
have
Reed.
Studio, but the free version I learned because it's free and I don't have to pay for Adobe.
Yeah, no. DaVinci's
That was
the
my
future.
nickname in high
I know a
school.
lot of the kids are doing it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, a lot of kids are doing DaVinci. Is that what they're calling it nowadays?
DaVinci's
In reference
good.
to you.
I'm kind of being an old head about it. I just don't know if I want to switch over because I use Premiere for work. I've used Premiere.
I gotta learn a
since
whole
college.
new editing. If we switch, I
I'm
just
aware of-
finally figured out how to use Adobe Pro.
Reed and I have discussed it.
I keep like putting the seed in, like, hey, just because it'd make it easier for like.
I mean,
if
I'm
we
a quick
all
learner.
learn one, then we can all do it, and then
That's such a great
doesn't
point.
pay.
I mean, I'm a quick learner.
$60
I got
a month.
I don't even know anything. So like, it's not like I've spent years on Adobe Pro or Premiere, whatever you guys call it, and now I have to like teach an old dog new tricks. Like I'm the young pup here in this circle of minds here. But yeah.
Do you use
Dude, this is
shortcuts at
awesome.
all when you edit, or do you use like keyboard shortcuts, or you just
Hotkeys.
buttons?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've taught him some
I've learned
hotkeys.
those.
Okay.
I've taught him some hotkeys.
Yeah, dude. I've been slinging those hotkeys, man.
They're
I mean,
just a little different in
dude,
DaVinci,
Q?
but otherwise it's not that bad.
It's
Sure.
really funny. Derek just kept hyping me up. I'd go over to his house and we'd start editing the first couple episodes of the pod. And he's like, whoa, slow down. What did you just hit? I was like, it's this key does this. So you don't have to click around to do this type of cut. He's like, oh, that's so cool. You're so fast at this, Mitch. I'm like, I'm not that fast. Please don't tell me I'm fast.
It would take me hours
it's
to
gonna go
edit
through
these.
my head.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, you're fast, Mitch. You know,
Aw,
imagine
thanks,
if
dude.
Derek was doing it.
Oh, I got him. I got him to the speed we need him to be at.
No, I pretty much edit all
You
these
gotta
now. If you're
one of these things.
you guys,
You gotta get him
dude,
one of these things.
Yeah.
I might need that.
There you go.
Oh,
There's some keyboard shortcuts. Yeah.
dude, that one looks like it's been just like nicely worn in, and
Lost
great.
some. Yeah, we
Dude.
lost some.
I love this.
I don't have custom shortcuts though.
I
these
don't
guys
either.
might.
I don't. No, I just stick to the basics because, like, if I ever have to teach, like, you know, teaching Derek, I'm not gonna teach him a custom keyboard setup, and then he goes and edits on on his own PC, and he's like, "What, the key doesn't do what it's supposed to do?" It's like, oh well, yeah, because I got a custom setup.
That'll happen, and I'd crash out.
Yeah,
I've had a couple crash outs on the pre-production, but
yeah, it's
we
stressful.
battle through it.
Yeah,
It is stressful. It's stressful.
Ian, you've never crashed out for production, right? You always keep calm, cool, collected head on a shoot or back in an editing bay. It's all like good vibes, right? Never want to punch Premiere Pro for not being able to render your clips out, right? That's never happened.
Never. It's not like it crashes or back in the day you forget to save and then it crashes and you lose all this stuff you've done. That never happens. No. It's all easy. It's an easy job. People just throw money at you, whatever. It's a piece of cake. I don't sell anything intangible. That pen thing, not a real thing in production, like easy to sell this stuff.
But yeah, between you and like Mitch and Rich Grossman, shout out to Rich Grossman, friend of the program. I've just even editing a podcast, which is that's pretty much not to besmudge podcast people, but like on the editing scale of like really difficult edits to basic things, it is very low. on the technical difficulty of it, and boy is that a challenging, time consuming thing. And so yeah, you guys it's not just as easy as just putting stuff together, filming stuff and just like uploading it. There's so much stuff that goes into what you guys do. So I want to keep going here on a little bit of the story, and we'll have all these like I love this. Mitch, keep firing up some questions.
Yeah.
Reed, if you have questions too. but I want to give the viewers the full experience, the story of Ian Fritz. This is like we're making a documentary right now for you, Ian, a life documentary. And so you and the Sasquatch boys, you clearly like about sometime during college decided like this might be like our future job here. Like this is it. And so you kind of lean into the Sasquatch branding, and you start reaching out like you just were talking about there. You start. I mean, I think on your website, I just kind of did a little dive into that. You had a maple syrup project that you started with, or that you show up there. And was that during school?
Yeah, that was senior year, second semester. It was the first documentary we ever made. It was Murph and I. We were
Sure.
bio majors, and it was a 1 credit class called maple syruping. Um, and
Such a St. John's class.
and it's 1 credit too,
It's so
which is
good.
crazy. And so one of the final projects was like, you could do a poster board on one aspect of maple syruping, or you can make a video about one aspect of maple syruping. And I was like, screw that. We're going to do a freaking documentary about St. John's maple syruping. And so my professor, bless his heart, nice guy, he gave out lots of paperwork of like, do this to show that you learned something and whatever. And I was like out at the Sugar Shack for about a month straight, like every other day, like with a camera, just interviewing random people about the process, what's going on, what's happening here and there. Um, Getting this footage, compiling it, along with Murph. And then him and I went and edited it, because then we were also we're double dipping on this video, one for our maple syrup class and then one for this video production class we were taking.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
yeah, and I ended up
Kids, that's working smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly.
um, and well, long story short, I should say we worked hard on it, we worked smart on it, but I got a C in the class, because in the maple syrup class, because I didn't do any of the paperwork. But I got an A on the project.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
got
C's
an
get degrees.
A on the project.
C's
Yeah,
get
and
degrees.
but with that, so we won our student film festival for it. Um, submitted it to Scream It Off Screen. It
oh,
didn't get
nice.
screamed off screen.
We,
So that,
I'm a part of another YouTube movie review podcast, and they've submitted stuff to, or not submitted stuff. Oh no, we did submit something to Scream It Off Screen. I don't think it didn't make it either. So, but I haven't heard that in a long
yeah,
time. So nice.
yeah. No, that was super fun. That's a great thing to go check out,
Yeah.
if you're in the cities or whatever. Just go watch that. But and then we submitted it for a student Emmy. Um, and then we ended up winning a student Emmy for it, which was cool. And then that kind of solidified the world of like, oh, we want to make documentaries.
Yeah.
We should do that. So that was like the focus going forward. That was it was the easiest thing for us to do that we kind of knew. So then
Sure.
graduating college, we're like, well, and we tried to find some commercial gigs, whatever, pay some bills. It was really hard. Didn't really get much or get paid much right after college. Um, but we are trying to do a documentary about wax techs in Nordic skiing. We are trying to call it Wax Wizards. Um, we made a trailer about it, which it was actually pretty sick. The trailer is pretty cool. I think if you type in Wax Wizards, maybe in Vimeo, you might find it. So
Dude, I
we
need to look
did
that up.
this, and we want 20 grand to make this video, which isn't much to do this big documentary like we want to do. We're gonna like go to Canada and all this stuff, and we could not get no Nordic ski business would give us money to make this. Nothing. Like our biggest ask from one individual donor was like 8 grand, and like the smallest was maybe 2, and no one gave us money. However, this guy by the name of Derek Bitter, he's a creative director. At Originally he was at Olson, then I think moved to Colin McVoy, and he started his own ad agency with a few other folks called Public Works. And when he was at Public Works, he was looking for a new production company to do this TV show called Dream State that he had created. Follows a high school hockey team throughout their season and produces 6 23-minute episodes that are released every week or every other week near the end of the high school hockey season. And they needed a new production company to do season 3, which was going to be Minnetonka. And he saw our Wax Wizards trailer and said, if these guys can make waxing and Nordic skiing look cool, I bet they can make hockey look cool. And so he asked us if we were interested in doing this show. We're like, sure. The longest thing we'd made before that was 8 minutes. And then we just had to produce, what is it? 69, 138 minutes of content.
Nice.
And, you know, like, I don't know, whatever. And it was a ride, that's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then, so yeah, we had no idea how to do it. Started with an outline and then kind of went from there. And each shoot day had a goal, and that goal coincided with the outline bullet point that we we're trying to fulfill in the edit. And that's kind of how that all came together.
That's sick.
Cool. So, okay, a couple questions here that relate to that. So you did like separate things. If you had to pick like a favorite type of like documentary that you've made, because you've done like stuff that like National Geographic has like featured, like nature documentary, you've done skiing stuff, you've done maple syrup production, waxing, like, and then hockey now. That seems like the last, like this most recent type of project. Which one would be like you consider your favorite, like as in favorite to work with and do and shoot?
Hockey hands down, because of there's so many things with hockey as a sport that is just so fun to capture. The sounds. My technical specialty on set is like sound. So I know how to film, I know how to shoot, but like I would probably have more expertise in location sound mixing, is what you call it when you're recording sound for documentaries or filmmaking. Location sound mixer. So that's why I've done, miking up athletes. You get the player mic, it's called. Like my mic is on like players as they're like playing hockey, and the sounds in hockey are the best sounds in all of sports.
So good. The
hands
crunch of
down.
the crunch of like the pads hitting just in general, or like the sound of the skates just going on the ice between even just like you could tell almost like closing your eyes, like the fresh ice, like it was
Sticks
just
hitting
freshly
pucks.
zambonied, and like stuff that's been like in the middle of the game. Yeah, there's some of the best sounds. I'd say basketball's pretty good. Basketball pretty good with the sneakers. That's pretty good too, but not as good. I would say not as good as hockey. I would agree with that 100%. So let's go with
close.
Basketball's close. Basketball's close with that. Let's go into Dream State, because as a sports podcast, I think that's.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go for it. Go for it, Mitch. Go for it, Mitch.
Go on. So when you're doing sound design or when you're sound mixing, do you use, when you're miking up hockey players, do you use like lavs that record on a micro SD and just hope that it gets the stuff, or are you listening to it in a different, like, how are you sound, not to give away your, I guess if you don't want to give away your secrets, I understand. What's the process of that like?
Well, I'm going to get to that, but I want to first say I'm an open book, because I had so many old dudes when I tried getting into this industry who just completely were like closed book, didn't share anything with you. Were like, you got to learn everything yourself, and it's so BS, because kids are coming up nowadays that know way more than me, and I want to learn from them. And I also know I know some stuff that they want to learn, and that's how it should be. Like,
Absolutely.
we can all learn from each other. And so I am not a closed book in any sense. So what I do is there are these things called player mics. They're like about this. I don't have one to show you at the moment, but they're about this size, and they're like that thin, and they're coated in like neoprene or silicone,
Okay.
and they bend in the middle. They were actually made for being able to attach to basketball jerseys because they need a mic to put on basketball players that wouldn't impede their game. And so that's where this player mic came from. And in the United States, you can only record audio. Either you can't listen to audio while it's recording on a device that's like not on you. So you
Oh.
I can't control per se like a player mic on a body. I have to accept that signal. I mean, I could record it, but I can't then listen to it and manipulate it. You
Oh.
can in Europe. You
Oh,
can
that's
dual
interesting.
record. You
That's
can
so
dual record in Europe. In the United States, you cannot. So
Wow.
in the
I would have
US,
never known that.
I get the signal kicked to me, and it's so the pack, the mic pack on an athlete's called a transmitter. That transmitter then gets sent to my receiver, which is on my sound bag, and then from the sound bag it goes into my sound recorder, and then I record the sound there. And for my shooters, I kick out what's called an IFB. I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but the IFB then it's a mix bus of everything I have going on my recorder, coaches, players mic'd up, all that gets mixed into one track, and then I kick that out of my sound recorder to another transmitter, which then goes out to the camera operators so they can hear what the coaches are saying, what the athletes are saying, what my client, my producer wants to hear. They can hear like what's happening on the ice.
That's
And
insane.
so as a camera guy, you can be following the like, okay, X players out there right now mic'd up, like we got to go on him, or coach is saying something quick, we got to change over to the coach. So
That's
that's
so
that's how you
cool.
do it. Yeah, the secret is the IFB. That's how you get your crew to hear what you as the sound mixers hearing.
Okay.
So,
dude.
and
That's so
sometimes in
cool.
dream state, the guys will like talk to you, like, watch out, I'm about to score a goal on this shift, you know.
Dude,
Um,
I was gonna talk about that too because I rewatched it because I watched it a long time ago. So I was just like, it felt like a long time ago, and so I was like, I gotta rewatch this, and I watched the whole thing, the Warroad season, because that was my favorite one.
that one's so
Not
yeah,
the
that
big
one's
favorites,
good.
but like, I rewatched it last night. Like I stayed up till like 1 in the morning rewatching the whole thing, and I was just like, this is so good, and so I kind of just want to go through like that season 5 and just kind of like there's some things that I like thought were just really interesting and just talk about kind of like your guys's like documentary style, and then maybe like just pick your brain a little bit about like because it might, I don't know, like you said, you like to share, like you're an open book, and this is great because it's like kids
Yeah,
might be listening to this, people who are inspired by this would want to like not jack your style but like be like, oh cool, I like how they did that, that's cool. People, art inspires more art, and that's what that's what the goal is in life, and so
yeah, yeah. I love it.
season 5 Warroad, Mitch and Reed, do you guys know where Warroad is? Any
Yes,
chance?
it is in
Okay.
that very little tippy top of Minnesota.
Is it
I
like
actually know a guy from Warroad. I used to work with him
Oh
when
yeah,
I was in Madison.
his name TJ.
No, his name is Brent,
Oh nice.
and he's like
Shout out to
40.
Brent. Oh, shout out to Brent.
I actually had a buddy apply for a history museum job up in Warroad.
Did he get it?
No, he didn't.
I
Is that
think the
probably,
legal?
guy's
yeah.
name is Brady. The guy that got the job's name is Brady, and he was like our hero during the Warroad Dream State because we spent a lot of time at the History Center.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
Shout out
probably,
Brady.
that's insane. What a
dude. That's
small
so
world,
cool.
dude.
Yeah.
The invisible string, man, dude. I love the invisible string. This is great. Shout out to Brady, man. Because I was gonna say, like, you
Shout
probably
out
had
Brady.
to really like the research part of it. Going to a different town that you like. Obviously, we're pretty familiar being from Detroit Lakes. Like, Warroad's not like too far away, but it's also not like our next door neighbors by any means. And so we're not being not from there. Like you got to kind of like go around and learn about all the history of the town. And but the first thing that I really loved in the documentary was like your guys' ability to kind of like quickly and seamlessly like capture the history part of it and also like intertwine it into the without having to like a real break in like the action of the storytelling. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Was that a choice or was that kind of like, well, okay, we have this amount of time, like we got to kind of try to figure out a way, or is that like something that like you like to do? Like you think it's interesting to do it that way?
Well, shout out to Murph. Murph was the editor of this show.
Oh,
and like Murph really made that thing magic. My job was collecting the material, making sure it was good material for him as the artist. I got him vivid colors. And maybe on a canvas, I kind of roughly sketched an outline with my interview questions with the people we chose to interview, things like that. And then, kind of a rough outline. But Murph really took it and then added all the detail, added all the layer to it. And so when you talk about like that seamless transition going from like the Native American history of Warroad,
Mhm.
because that's a huge part of it, to then into the Marvin side of when the Marvins basically moved to town, basically brought hockey and then brought industry. Like that was all Murph. And so, that's one of his like most incredible skills in editing is to be able to seamlessly like weave stories together. Later on in the show, you've got like people playing, we got the band concert mixed with hockey, mixed with like ice fishing, and mixed with an Ojibwe language teacher explaining how the kids are like a big part of the town, and that was Murph finding ways to bounce all these 3 or 4 basically scenes and stories together into one thing and continue coming back to them. And I think that's again, coming back to talking about the importance of editors and like a skill or a talent almost. That's I don't know how one can teach that. I've tried to find it in other editors, and it's a pretty special thing to have. So
It was
um,
it was awesome. I really appreciate it because it's so okay. Maybe I'm just, like I don't know if this is intention or not, but like I feel like it captured what I would feel like high school felt like and playing high school sports, being involved in everything. You're all over the place. Like it's just kind of like everything's but it's so important and everything's intertwined. And so like I thought that was really cool and I enjoyed it as like a viewer because like sometimes documentaries can get when they go and do like off top like not off topic but like here's a sidebar of like the history behind that it can kind of like derail the entire like it kind of get a little like okay we're back in history class learning about World War II, but like the way that it was all intertwined and like very just like it was just seemed seamless and it seemed like very just like if I felt like I was in Warroad learning it like it part of the experience, which is pretty cool.
For me,
Shout out
it
to
that's
Murph.
made
awesome.
Murph's
Yeah,
the man.
shout out to Murph.
for
I
me it
kind of
made
wish
me actually
I would have
care.
invited Murph as well here. Maybe we have to have you guys both on again and talk about. Maybe you guys can shoot a documentary of us making a podcast. Can you do that?
Oh, don't do that. Don't do
That
that.
would be
I
sweet.
want Murph.
That
I
would
want
be
Murph to.
awesome.
I want you to take some cool action shots. I want Murph to edit like in just a day in the life of Sideline Vibes.
The- I think the
You're like we're
documentary
way too
was
busy for
good
that.
because it
What?
actually like as I'm watching it, it made me care about the Warroad players and like want them to win, even though like I'm not from Warroad. I'm from Marshall, and I don't care if Warroad wins. But as I'm watching it, I get invested in them, and I think that's what makes it a good documentary.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks,
for
Reed.
sure.
Appreciate that. I got one thing I always want to share, and we wanted to find a way to put this into the piece, but we couldn't find a way to do it right. So we talked to one of the our subjects we interviewed, Donald Kakagizik. He's basically the elder of the area, and he's very important. So Native Americans, they have different plans that for instance, like Red Lake. they have clans within it, but and I don't completely understand, but like you can't say Donald is a Red Lake Ojibwe man. He is a Duck Clan man from Warroad. Um, but anyway, why I say this because that's an important thing to distinguish who he is and where he's from. But he's kind of the elder of the area. When he was in 7th grade, back in the 70s or so, um, Warroad had like a caricature of a Native American person and as their logo. And Donald didn't like that. And so he tells his art teacher, like, hey, I don't like this logo. Like, this isn't cool. It's kind of offensive. Like, I think we could have something better. So his art teacher's like, all right, Donald, well, why don't you draw a new one for us? So he looks over at his buddy, a guy by the name of Vernon Sargent from Red Lake, Minnesota, an Ojibwe man. And he looks at his silhouette. What he draws is this Vernon's silhouette.
That's so
Vernon was an
freaking
8th
cool.
grader. So he's an Ojibwe man from Red Lake. And this logo is drawn by a 7th grader, Donald Kakagizik, of his friend, who is a Native American as well.
That is
And
so
so
cool.
they didn't adopt this logo right off the bat. They filed it away. And in the 90s, after I think they had like maybe taken on the Blackhawks logo, just again, like people just not getting it. In the 90s, they were kind of coming around like, we need to do something different, blah, blah, blah. We need to like find what's our identity. And they go through like, you know, their folders and stuff and pull out Donald's drawing and are like, this is it. This is it. That's what's been. Nothing has changed since the 90s. This is their logo. That is Vernon Sargent, drawn by Donald Kakagizik. And if you go to Warroad and you talk to the community members, like Native American culture is a big deal. The school grounds was donated by Nemapuk, who was a war chief of Warroad, fought off the Lakota and Dakota. It was either Nemapuk's grandpa or someone, or maybe him or whatever, and he donated the land that the school was on to him. And the story goes is that he wanted the school to be called the Warriors in honor of his ancestors and for them basically taking over that land. So, and if you watch the intro credits of the World season, it opens up with guys we're filming cattails on this river. Well, that's the Warroad River. That's where the Warroad Ojibwe came up that river and fought off the Lakota and Dakota. And so we put the hockey players in their jerseys on the Warroad River and then shot that. So that's the
so
whole
sick.
reference to the intro. And then fire is a huge part of Native American culture. It's a time of meditation and thought and a place of warmth and support. And so that's why we had fire, we had ice. We put we put the athletes on the Warroad River, and it was just this amazing culmination of like what this town is all about.
That's so cool. I was just about to ask about the intro shot because like I obviously you played a big part of that and you just explained it. So like what was cool about the intro part of the entire like show too, the learning about how like I think most schools should do what Warroad does in embracing Native American culture, with more treating it almost if God, it's hard to like when I've like we've both been to Hawaii. Hawaiian like culture is ingrained in the culture of the state of Hawaii. So like I wish that was more like it seems like Warroad that is the case, and which is I think is super important. And in the documentary shows a good part, like shows that as a whole too. And I thought that was interesting too. That intro shot now with the context of that, it's even better because I was like that was my favorite thing, one of my favorite shots of the entire entire show too was the fire. It looked so cool, and you shot that on at night. I'm guessing nighttime, on
At
the
night. Yeah.
out on the river. That's so good because it looks. I was like, I wonder if this was like in. I'm like, how do they do the fire in the arena? Like, I wonder if there was like. I was gonna ask about that, but you're like, no, you did it
Those were
outside in the.
dads. Those were dads just like freaking they took these giant like fire pits and brought them on the ice for us. Like I mean it was a whole like it was a community kind of effort, hockey
That's
parent
so cool.
effort to kind of help
Oh
us
yeah,
make that thing happen.
and hockey.
Um
Hockey is. It's like family hockey, pretty much intertwined.
yeah.
Up there.
You know, uh um Mitch, you were saying how like, I gotta hold all this stuff in my head and hold on to it. And well, I should say this too. If you're doing documentary, it's a very sensitive thing you're doing. For
Mhm.
the most part, you're probably telling someone else's story. And their story of who they are is like this big, huge.
Massive.
And we as documentary filmmakers come in and tell like this much of it.
Oh, it's like a
And
microscopic look into who they are, and you gotta take their whole life and be like, all right, and 20 minutes, explain it.
how do I say who this massive person is, who's so many things in so many complex levels, and then how do I relate it in 20 minutes? And so you have to be hypersensitive, empathetic, sympathetic to that fact in order to do your story right. And if you don't, you're doing a disservice to the people and the form of storytelling. And so I take my job very seriously and understanding that people are being vulnerable to me, you know, and it's my duty to make sure I do them right. And so, whatever job I get, if it's a documentary thing, it's like I need to be the smartest person on this subject or be talking to all the smart people know this so I can at least be educated enough to make sure I'm capturing who they are as either a community or an individual or a team, in order to do it right. So that's kind of my approach to documentary and storytelling.
That's so
If
cool.
you had to, speaking of that, like if you had to pick like a favorite interview that you had during that process, who was like the favorite interviewer uh, uh during that time in the Warroad? Who was like it could be like who was the most fun to interview or who was like had just the but like the best stories to tell. I have a thought in my head just by like watching it back last night, but I want to hear what you said.
I mean they're all great. Like, you know, it's so cool to like go into places where like these people aren't like celebrities or anything. They're just freaking people, Um, but my favorite people to interview are like the freshmen or the sophomores or the JV guys. They're just like, wait, what? You want to interview me? And they're just like, oh, I don't know, blah blah blah. And, like it's so funny because they're just like, why me? It's like because you're important, and like you have important things to say and like your town and like you might have a better perspective about playing Xbox or something because you're better at that than like the varsity hockey player because he cares more about playing hockey, and like I care all about that. I mean that's high school hockey. It's not just like who's the best player, there's so much more to it. And
Yeah, you
so
need
yeah,
vibe guys.
that's
You need
my
vibe guys in the team, and those
you
guys are the
need the
vibe
vibe
guys.
guys. Yeah, exactly.
I knew you were gonna say
So
that because those are some of my favorite interviews parts of that. Also I can't remember the guy's name, the assistant coach who had some of the best coaching one-liners I've ever heard in my entire life. And
Sun.
okay,
So,
yeah, and
Sun Shagri.
so son, I don't want to spoil too much of it because I actually want people to go and like watch. I mean, watch it. It's pretty cool. Like he shows a clip of Hitch, and it made it. I loved it so much that I like almost want to use it in a situation. Keep that in my back pocket. Where it's just like you gotta keep it simple. Sometimes you guys are doing too much. You're dancing like Kevin James, like going crazy. You just gotta keep it nice and tight. Keep it nice and tight. Keep it simple. You don't do too much. Like that was all time coaching right there, and it actually worked out for them, and that they understood what exactly. It's just great all time. He was my other favorite of the season. I gotta ask too some more shots. And then we can just like talk about some of your favorite moments or any last things. Was shooting like practice and shooting like the game shots. How difficult was it to really? I know this is like season 5, so you're like kind of like a well-oiled machine at that point. You kind of know like all the stuff, like all the angles. But how hard is it to shoot such a fast-paced game like hockey? I guess in Warroad too, it's like such a kind of a tight. You feel like you're in like a sardine can a little bit, like it's intimate. How hard is it to get a lot of those shots? Because I mean, it felt like you're on the ice at sometimes. But yeah,
Practice, we're on the ice.
So were you're
For
skating
sure.
around?
Oh yeah.
You got dusted
I
off the
wonder
old
if I got
skates
some.
and
There was a couple of shots.
pictures.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh.
they're out on the skates. They're foul. There's no way that shot is that smooth and that close without that camera op being on a skate. No way.
That's the other amazing thing about hockey is like you got a dolly and a stabilizer built right into your body, and
Mm.
so that's what if you can skate and film, like, I mean, it's just a whole new world of shots you can get as a hockey camera operator compared to other sports, which is when you're running and stuff, it's really hard to do. um so I'm gonna see if I can find a shot of one of us.
That Murph must have done, and it just is just like sick.
It's just
Oh,
full.
Look
look
at
at
that stance,
that.
He's got
He's
goalie
locked in.
skates on too. So
I love God. Murph's style is just impeccable. He's rocking the It looks
yeah,
like a quarter zip that he probably did. He get that from
Warroad.
some dad, or did he end
Oh
up
no, we
they
spent
gifted
so
it?
much money at this shop. We spent so
Oh, I
much
love it.
money at like their local like high school, jersey shop, whatever it
I
is.
love
Like
it.
this hat, we just got custom everything there.
Oh, nice.
I still wear this hat.
That's so sick.
Um,
It's a cinema team on the
so we're like,
side.
oh, you gotta,
That's
like, it's great. So I did
I
that
remember
for
you.
Shakopee too. I don't know if I should have my Shakopee hat around here, but yeah, you gotta know what team you're with.
yep.
For sure, for
So
sure. Was there
That's sick.
any favorite shots that maybe like you had that you're like, I wish people would understand how difficult that was and how cool, like kind of like what you were talking about with the football one, where like earlier about the St. John's like guy leaping over, like any shots like that just like you guys have no idea how hard that was or how cool that was.
well, to open up season 5, we had filmed at the previous state tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe by a fluke. We were the first and only non-TV crew ever let in to film a high school hockey tournament, and I think it was an accident. And it wasn't for Dream State. It was this other one-off hockey series for the Wild called Home Ice Advantage, which was supposed to tell the story of the youth community hockey model in Minnesota, because we're basically the last and only state where like 95% of our rinks in Minnesota are owned by municipalities. We
Mm-hmm.
have public hockey in Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
where you go to Maine, you go to Chicago, majority of your rinks, like 90% of them, 95% of the rinks are owned by companies, corporations, individuals. And so in Minnesota, like, they can jack up the ice price. That's why when you hear of hockey outside of Minnesota, it costs a fortune. It still costs a lot in Minnesota, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still exorbitantly expensive. In the Wild, they're trying to do some programs to help reduce that. But Skate It Forward is their big one right now. They're basically, the goal is to try to start paying for, like, their dream of that program is to pay for every kid's first year of hockey,
Oh,
in
that's
a
awesome.
public youth program. So they're not like there yet, but that's they're working towards finding a way to make that happen. But yeah, you go to Chicago, whatever, and it's all private rinks. They got bars attached to the rink. Like
Yeah.
it's like money, there
Hmm.
to them. Where like here, these rinks don't care if they make a buck. They're just trying to like not lose too much money,
Yeah.
if they can make a buck. So that's what makes Minnesota so cool. But that shot alone, I should say, at the state tournament was a big deal that they let us in. I don't know how we got in. I think
The shot was
again some
cool
of
though too. It was a cool shot.
yeah.
Like I thought
It was a
from
lot.
like
It
the
was
back.
that whole yeah, behind the net when they
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
The story of us being there, that one was significant. So yeah, I don't know. I watch it and I'm just like, oh my god. I think the shot Murph got this shot. It's the Warroad Roseau game in
Oh,
Roseau. And he's on
that
the
was
ice
such
and
fun.
the Warroad guys are lined up on the blue line for the national anthem, and then you got the Roseau guys, and it's just in that old barn, which is like one of the I
That
mean,
arena
that's
is
like
so freaking cool.
it might be one of the coolest arenas, yeah, ever. And like Warroad's really cool, but like and their rink is amazing, but like what's cool about Roseau is that thing hasn't been touched in
Yeah.
like you can see the dust, like you're under the concession stand for the guest locker room, and like you see dust coming down, like,
People are walking up the thing or
through
like
the
pep bands playing.
floorboards. Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
just like you hear it. It's they're right on top of you. So yeah. Um
That's
yeah, I
How
don't know.
cool
I
was the
can't
Hockey Day Minnesota Hockey Day Minnesota one? Because that was like perfect. Like it was really fun, cool. Like the fog rolling in, like that was really cool. Like aesthetic hockey. That was like you're
yeah.
playing with your friends out on the lake or out on like the outdoor rink. That's what it like. That's the most I've ever. And watching some of those games over the years, that was the most I've ever like felt like this is the perfect place for Hockey Day Minnesota. So how cool is that?
But Warroad was beautiful. It was like 34 degrees. The
Mhm.
ice itself, they have these incredible ice. There's like two or three different like companies that do outdoor ice, and this one was like ice, whatever. I don't know. I think they've done a few Winter Classic games, but these ice techs have to either cool the ice if it's below 30, if it's above 32 degrees, they have to cool the ice to keep it frozen. And if it gets below, I think like 15 degrees or 10 degrees, they have to heat the ice. So they have two situations going on under the ice
That's
just to
wild.
maintain that ice quality. And so I think it was like 34, 33 degrees when for the Warroad game, and that was and that was just yeah, and the mist came in. I mean, it was just like it was poetic. It was yeah, it was incredible. And that town did an incredible job. They have 1,800 people in that town. And you would think all 1,800 people like threw down for that event. They had like life-size posters of like all their like elite athletes that have gone through.
So
Um,
cool.
you know, so yeah, that was an incredible experience.
Yeah, it
I
was cool. It
I
was
have a
really cool to just learn about Warroad, and the town is just so awesome with their hockey love. And
I do have a
you guys did a great job of telling the story.
quick last question specifically on the you know uh, game that was played outside. How was it shooting in essentially like a trailer for their locker room? That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like, and you can tell that
It,
it's
it is a
steamy.
trailer.
Yeah, I was like, are they in an enclosed trailer? That looks like that's their locker room, and it's just a trailer, which makes sense. You're playing outside. You're not gonna have locker rooms to go to unless you put them underground. Well, you're not gonna do that. Just roll trailers out there. Like, can you? What was? Because I'm sure the trailer is not big enough to fit a full hockey team in there comfortably, let alone a camera crew and the professional setup you guys run. I'm sure that was all tight and you don't move a lot and you gotta work to get that shot. So like what can you like quick walk me through like what that experience was like?
Um, yeah, you walk in and immediately your lens fogs up. And I think like that's a part of the look to a degree too. Like you want to be able to at least see a little bit, but like I was like, guys, it's all right if our lenses fog up a little bit. If we
Yeah.
can't see what's actually happening, then you'll get. But it's cool as like a viewer like you, where
I
you're
thought it
like,
was cool.
their lens is fogged up, you know,
I felt like I was
holy
there.
shit. Yeah. So that, and then you go pick a spot usually, and then stay locked in right there, you know. Or you go in right before the coaches do, and usually there's a little spot where you can kind of do one of these, you know, you're just kind of like, around and stuff. And try to do the best you can. But yeah, locker rooms are not always easy to film in, and there's a lot going on, and
Right.
you got to be thoughtful about when you're going in, of course,
Right.
and stuff too, and so yeah. But the hockey day locker room was really that was fun, difficult for sure
Oh yeah.
experience.
I was gonna say one in a lifetime experience. I feel like, but maybe you guys go to these types of games all the time where they're, you know, outside in an enclosed trailer for a locker room for the game. But I don't know. I saw that and I was like, that had to be so difficult to shoot it, because obviously, you
I
try
lo-
to minimize the fog on the lens as much as you can, but there's only so much you can do. You're in a tight spot, you can't move, you sit there, and you better hope you can get the shot you can get. And obviously it's a live, you're essentially filming a live game. You can't be like, all right, let's run it. I didn't like how you said that, re-roll it. Like, what you get is what you get. You can't redo it. So insane. I love it. I saw that, I was like,
I love the kid pouring a little dooski on his stick.
yes, that
That was
too.
funny. That made me laugh so hard.
Ryan Lund.
Dude, what a
Lundy.
legend. That kid's a legend.
Yeah.
What is he up to
He's a
nowadays?
le-
I hope great
He's
things.
playing hockey. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, he's puck his life. Hopefully he's having a couple more dooskies,
Putting pucks in nets.
That putting pucks in net. Oh yeah, you included that part a lot too. That was fun. A lot of the guys just put pucks in the net. There was like a 30-second montage of all the boys saying that. I think it different. There's just so many things that I just loved about it, but yeah, awesome sports documentary. I guess to kind of wrap up this part of the before we do say the state, any like current or maybe future projects that you're working on that you maybe want to touch on or give a shout out to, or if you can, I guess some of it might be a little under the radar that you don't want to talk about or can't talk about, but anything you want to like shout out for our viewers to maybe go check out, and how maybe people can, like, I don't know, support or reach out to your work.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
I'm not very good at personally posting. I don't post
Do you have
stuff
okay?
like
But if
at all.
you ever find Ian's Instagram, it is the greatest Instagram collection I've ever seen in my entire life. His photo. I think Bailey one time was like, "What is like what? This is like the most random assortment of pictures." It's great. I get it. It's the most Ian
I don't.
aesthetic.
Yeah. Now I got to stay off it because
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's good. I like to fly under the radar. Anyway, but things I'm working today. I'm helping a friend, two friends who are doing a documentary called Game Makers, and a lot of it's being filmed at Can Wonderland, and it's about the people that build and maintain pinball machines, electromagnetic
That's so cool.
machines.
That's awesome.
So like yeah, it's super sick. I'm like just a helpful hand on it. I'm doing some location sound mixing for them and then some assistant camera work, but I am super stoked about what they're making. And then actually I've got a video coming out the end of the month. Ale's Pale Ale.
Oh.
Ale's Pales
a curling
Ale.
video. Ale's Pale Ale. They're the official beer sponsor of USA Curling.
Nice.
Dude.
So we'll have
sick.
a little something coming out for them.
Were you at the curling tryouts for USA? Were you there at all?
No, I wish. That would have been awesome.
So we know a guy who
like-
was there the whole weekend. He sat in the very middle of the stands and was in every single shot. If you heard of the beard guy, we know him.
The beard guy.
Yeah,
Is he from Marshall?
Yes, he's from Marshall. So we all work for a local broadcast, Pt.1 cable access, and our director's brother was at all the curling stuff.
Yeah.
And he became notoriously known as the beard guy.
He's a very full
Are you going to get
beard.
the beard on the podcast?
Oh my god, we should.
I would. Maybe.
Can he fit us into his busy schedule?
He's a priest, so he's pretty
Bless you,
busy.
his beard.
Yeah. He probably would have a lot of good things to say.
You could ask him for some fundraising money.
Sidebar: Detroit Lakes has a kind of a rich curling history. We have an incredible club that's been used throughout the years up in the lakes area. I do appreciate really quick thing too. This some old guy. I love that you guys included that older gentleman. I don't remember his name, saying that like, oh yeah, we're going up to Brainerd, up north to Brainerd. It's like that's not up north. I love that he said that. I'm like, yes, he gets it. That's not up north.
Yeah.
That's like the suburbs of the cities compared to Warroad.
Mike. He's a Roseau guy. He was on Team USA. Yeah. Fucking
stuff.
Legends up there, man. It's crazy.
Dude, they are. There's some dogs. Any other future projects you kind of want to plug? Yeah. Or anything?
No, I'm searching for my next sports thing to do. Kind of have a vision. Might sit on it a little bit and hopefully can make another appearance, maybe at another quarter century event. And hopefully have some updates on that one. But
what about like following the Marshall Tiger basketball team?
Oh, I'd like that. Are you coaching?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can mic me up.
I'd love to mic you up.
Oh, you let Ian mic you up, but when we recommend it, you're like, no.
I was just gonna say I probably can't do that.
You absolutely can do that.
I know legally, yes, but like, and I know it would be awesome, but I don't think that it would be allowed in the circle, if that makes sense. All
right, Vibe Crew, we need a vote. Should Derek be mic'd up for a game?
Absolutely.
Comment below.
Leave some comments.
All right, that's a wrap.
That'll do it.
Oh, my butt hurts.